You're on air.
All right,
Test.
somebody want to make a motion to open the meeting?
Move to open the meeting.
April 13th, 2022 at 7:11 PM. Is there a second for that?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. We don't need to do a roll call before it was here, right?
No, no more roll calls.
It's moving along. So, move to sponsor Earth Day in Groveland.
Oh, you want to do that?
Why not? Don't you?
Yeah, no.
Anybody want to second it?
All right, any further discussion on that? Like I say, it doesn't require any money or time commitment on our parts.
The proper disposal with, Andy, were you about to say something, or?
Someone from ACES, I don't know why it's echoing and I don't know how to fix it. Someone from the ACES Institute reached out and asked that same question because they were anticipating that they would also receive those questions once they put it on their website.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to figure out.
Can you mute the, you're not on the computer.
It says properly dispose of stuff, and there's some spots in this beautiful town where there's a fair amount of stuff that's accumulated over the winter. And we're supposed to only be putting out a certain size barrel or 2 small barrels or something. And just, is there gonna be a dumpster or something that we can bring stuff to? That's my question.
No. You're responsible for your own trash, whether it's in your yard or you pick it up.
Okay.
All right,
Unfortunately, that's just the way it is.
put that on the frequently asked questions.
Okay, I'll let
Remember that
the
for
ACES
next
people
meeting.
know.
Okay, so any other further discussion? Hearing none, then we'll take a vote. All in favor of the sponsorship of the cleanup month, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous. Okay, all right. How about approval of the March 9th, 2022 minutes?
Move to approve the March 9th, 2022 minutes with the suggestion of dealing with Fred's disappearance. Anybody second? There we go. Bill seconds.
Okay,
I didn't see anything else in there that needed attention.
no. Yeah, Annie and I also, Annie sent it to me, I looked it over. We got that out of the way about a month ago.
Oh, you guys are rock stars.
Okay, any further discussion on the minutes for March 9th as amended? Hearing none, we'll take a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Okay. The next thing on the list is 142 King Street. And, let's see, see here?
Yep.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't see you back there, Matt. All right, so Matt recently purchased the property at 142 King Street. If you recall, we permitted the subdivision of one lot into a two-lot subdivision. Actually, it's a one-lot subdivision broken off from 245 Center Street, and we did that about, I think it was sometime in the August timeframe of 2020. And so Matt has some questions about some changes he'd like to make, so I'll let you talk.
Do you have the,
Oh, yeah, okay, let me pull that up.
So, coming up, just for the board's reference, there's 3 items. One is a detention basin near the front of the property. It's just outside of the 100-foot buffer. If I can pull it about 25 to 30 feet forward into the buffer, then I can save a couple of trees and it's a little bit easier on the grading. From the sidewalk,
When you say there is, you mean there are plans for?
there's
Okay, all right.
Everything I'm saying is proposed.
Okay, all right, cool.
So there's a basin right here, and it's just before the 100-foot buffer. If I can pull it forward a little bit, then I can save a little bit on grading. From our site walk, it wasn't something that the board had requested. It apparently is something that the planning board has requested. But before I go through the whole process, I just want to make sure that you guys are okay if I pull it into the buffer a little bit. That's item one.
Who is at the site walk?
Myself and Mike.
Just you two, okay.
Yeah.
So we don't have any idea of what this is all about.
Well, so.
I mean, you do, but
Yes.
the three of us don't.
So the reason we thought that it was where it currently is because this also had to go through the planning board, and we assumed that when the plans were being made for the planning board, they just figured to keep the detention pond outside of the 100-foot buffer, so that to not be held up by conservation if it passes planning. They didn't want
Got it.
to, have to backtrack permitting wise. If planning okayed it as it is, conservation was going to okay it because it was outside of the 100-foot buffer. So that's
Well,
why
it'd be nothing to okay, it's out of our jurisdiction, right?
Exactly. So he would like to move it within our jurisdiction, which would be probably a modification to the order of conditions to allow it with the updated plans.
So, I mean, it's up to you guys as it is. If I can move forward, I can save a couple trees, a little bit of grading. If you're against it, then I'll kill some trees and do a little bit more grading. Oh, thank you. Item two is on the erosion control measures. You have them up gradient and down gradient, which is a little pricey at the end of the day. Primarily through here, there's a rock wall here, and you have erosion controls right against the rock wall. This side is up gradient. This side is down gradient. There is no rock wall. It's basically open, and you do have erosion control measures along that side. And this wraps around. Again, we have a rock wall. Here's the wetland area. The gradient does go this way, and then over here it flips, where down gradient is this way and the wetland's on the upside. So
What's on the down gradient side?
here, there's two residences.
Okay, so it's not other wetlands
Nope.
somewhere else?
No,
All right.
it's basically, it slopes down to Pheasant Lane.
Okay,
So if we could find a way to put erosion control on the low side and maybe something else on the upside that's not quite as expensive, I would appreciate it. What that is, I'm open to discussion on. It's basically $5 a foot for the tubes. If I could do the rock wall, which is more substantial than anything I could put in there, that would be one thing. Short of that, I can get silt fence for $1 a foot. That's about a quarter of the cost to
Yeah.
20% of the cost.
yeah.
So I'm just trying, it's $10,000 at the end of the day. I'm just trying to get that under control. Yeah.
Mike, I know you guys must have gone out there recently, but we've been out there before, right?
Yep.
And this is, I just want to calibrate myself. This is where you got to fit the house with the rocks?
Nope.
No?
This is the main entry in.
No, I understand that's the main entry. I'm just trying to get, because
So-
it's a long walk. 'cause-
Yep. This is King Street here.
Yeah,
Sorry,
okay.
I should have oriented everybody
No, that's
before I
okay.
started. You go up this. There's a narrow 50-foot wide slip of the property, and then it kind of does a switchback around the wetland.
Yep,
And then the house area is this big open area up in the back. There is another wetland over
back
here.
there, Yeah, but.
But
the-
right-
The actual resource is on the other side of the.
There is a
road, right?
resource down here as well,
Right. and
across the
that's
street.
Where, and you're gonna bring
So
pond, go ahead,
there's a pond that's proposed here.
right.
The main portion of the driveway comes through here, up and around. There's a septic system that's installed here. There's a house here. This is up gradient, and the flow goes this way. There's no resource on this side. Well, there is, but it's like half a
Long
mile
way
down
away.
the road.
Long way.
And then this resource is basically isolated. It's a depression. And there's a high spot through here, and then the property goes this way
Yeah,
towards
no,
Pheasant.
okay, I'm calibrated.
Okay.
I guess what I was getting at in my mind was, yes, you want to move into the the buffer zone, but that buffer zone is across, the what?
It's across the street from King.
Across the street is the resource.
Yes.
It's just that it comes across,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, basically the 25-foot buffer is entirely comprised of King Street.
Right, right. Oh, got it, okay.
So, let's see, so the erosion control, that's the big number. And then the third item was, oh, that's a good question. What the heck was my third item? I got distracted.
To do with closing out with just the septic system? Or?
Oh, yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
So my big thing is to get the driveway in. I can't do anything about the driveway or temporary electric. So the septic system, while is needed, is kind of ancillary at this point until I can get up into the back. I have logging coming in through here to basically clear for the driveway. As I clear for the driveway, the crowns of these trees are about 40 foot wide. And my logger, so this is the kind of the future driveway location. You can see the trees that are flagged. My logger is telling me that with the crowns being 30-ish feet wide, when he brings them down, all the erosion control is going to get torn up as he pulls them through. It's just logging. I'm not taking out stumps or anything. I just want to delay installation of the erosion controls until I get the logs out of there. Before I start stumping it, I'll have everything installed.
No excavating.
No excavating.
Still, you're not going to be
nothing.
disrupting the.
Nope.
All right.
I have no plans of doing that. So I don't want to install this stuff twice, is really what I'm getting at.
You're trying not to install it once. I can see how you
I'll
really don't
install
want
it
to do it
once.
twice.
I'll install it once. I'll install where it should go. I will be more than happy to find, some economical measure to,
Yep.
but I'm just looking to
Yep.
kind of find some cost savings. So those are my 3 items.
Okay. So, I'm good with in my mind, I'm straight with the first one on the retention. The second one, isn't you say the upside of isn't that house, doesn't it just have a big lawn that's,
Yeah.
it's like a field, really, just manicured lawn, right?
So in this picture, you're standing on King Street looking
Yeah.
back up. There's a house right here.
Yeah.
You can see where the house is up gradient. It's a
Yeah.
big open lawn. He's got some trees in the buffer area. And you can see from this side to this side, it drops off. This rock wall, while not on the plan, is there. It's in the
Right,
field. It runs
right.
the entire length. And it's substantial. I'm not moving it. I don't want to do anything with it. I'm actually trying to find all these rocks here, and there's a couple up further. I want to put them on the other side so I can get that, nice Massachusetts rock wall feel. And on this side, there is the rock wall, but this side is the one that really needs to be protected, and that's where I want to put the erosion controls. In the plan, it shows them on both sides. So I'm just trying to, is there something else I could do on this side besides $5 a foot for erosion control?
What was the rationale on that side? Can somebody remind me?
So I've got some facts just to share with the other commissioners. So, number one, the erosion controls were suggested by the applicant's wetland scientist. We didn't order those, but, typically what we want to see is surrounding the entire work site. So that's why,
Even up.
yeah, I mean, we don't generally differentiate between, not putting them on the upside if we want them to surround the work area. So that's where that came from. But like I say, we didn't put that in there. That's what the applicant's wetland scientist put on the plan, which we approved. The second thing is that the location of the sedimentation pond is, I believe, subject to planning board review, because we didn't, again, order that. That was under the planning board's review of the stormwater management. So, whether or not we can even move it or agree to move it might be a moot point. And
Do you think there might be concerns about it being too close to the road?
well, it could be, or, I don't know exactly why they put it where they did. So, an engineer figure that out.
Right.
So maybe it was random or maybe not, I don't know. And, you know, I personally do not like no erosion controls being there when you have 78 trees being taken down and hauled out of there. It's bound to cause mud if there's rain, potential large erosion problem with nothing in place. So, you know, I don't think we ever allow that kind of work to be done without some kind of erosion control being in place. So I guess the point is, number one, is do we want to entertain these changes? And if so, number two, are they significant enough to require an amended orders of condition and permit?
I think they would warrant an amendment.
Yeah,
I think you're probably gonna have to go back to the planning board to okay the movement of the pond.
If that's what it is, then that's what it is. To
Yeah.
be honest, it's a little bit of money. The big money is if we could find a little bit of easier way to do
Yeah.
erosion control.
Yeah. I think it might be worth, if, I'm free on Saturday, if we want to go take a quick look and just see what we think, you know, feet on the ground again. You know, just to get a little better idea where we might be able to ease up a little bit, or not. Maybe we'll look at it and say,
So I was gonna, Mike and Annie, you
Yep.
said, so, you know, what do you think on the pond is more drastic? The moving of the pond or the removal of the trees and the different grading that he's talking about?
well, the
Those are two
difference
separate.
is the pond was completely out of the 100-foot buffer. Now it's going to be within the 100-foot buffer. But I don't think it's that significant from our point of view because it's basically across the street from the resource area, so,
I mean, if they're nice trees and established trees, something like that, I would
lean
lean
towards.
towards preserving those as opposed to, you know, just moving the pond 25. Again, with King Street there, I don't know that the retention pond is the, you know, the big issue for the resource area.
right.
Yeah, it might be more of a planning board, the
Right.
road could
Yeah.
flood, who knows?
Yeah, I think as far as the retention pond goes, I think it would be prudent for the Conservation Commission to maybe decide whether or not they would be okay with it potentially moving there, because the ultimate decision of whether it can or not will come down to the planning board.
Okay.
That's just my advice as far as kind of sequencing of things.
Yeah.
The planning board might like to know in advance that the Conservation Commission is okay with it being within the buffer zone,
And
before
again, I
they
think
make
it'd be
their
nice to
decision.
take a look again, just, you know, the last time I was out there was
Yeah,
a year ago,
long
18
time.
months ago,
Can't
Yeah.
remember when that was, but yeah.
pre-COVID, I don't know, it was a while ago. No, it was a while ago.
I'm free Saturday. if you want
You
to-
voted on 2020, so it's at least 2 years.
Yeah, so, I'd like to have another look. It's walking distance for me, so,
Saturday morning,
I mean, I
So-
don't wanna force everybody out of their
No,
weekend.
I'm free. I'm not working on Saturday. So.
no, so we want to do a site visit before we make a
think so.
decision. All right, we won't make a decision
No, no.
until May. So we're not going to make a decision tonight. We won't make a decision for another
That's
month.
fine.
You just wanna get things rolling.
I just want to get stuff rolling. I have contractors I'm trying to line up, and they're all booked.
Yeah, good luck with that.
So it's trying to get ahead of everything.
Yep,
Yeah, and I think that would be good. You know, yes, it is on the upside, but you did say you're gonna move some rocks and cut some trees, so I think, you know, maybe.
Just feet on the ground.
Yeah, maybe there's different levels of erosion control. We need a shorter
Right,
area,
right,
something
right.
like that. So we'll,
okay, so site visit at what time on Saturday?
8:30,
8?
8 sounds good.
eight's good.
8, okay?
Sounds good.
Okay, so we'll meet you out there, Matt.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Move to open the hearings at
Yeah, so
7:32.
Second.
motion to open the hearing portion of the meeting at 7:32 PM. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Unanimous. All right. We'll do these in order as they're posted. So the first hearing is for 30 Byfield Road, and it's a Groveland RDA. So Annie, why don't you tell us about it?
Sure.
I mean,
So 30,
oops, there it is.
thanks. So 30 Byfield Road, Brian Burke is the applicant, he's here tonight. He would like to put a shed right here in his yard. The edge of the wetlands are right here. He has a very uniquely shaped yard, so uniquely shaped that he had to get a variance through the zoning board first last week to be able to put his shed where it is going to be, because it's going to be within the setbacks of his side setbacks. And it really is an interesting yard shape. This line right here is the wetlands, and so this is his only kind of traditional yard. His house is right here, his septic and leach field are here. These are very steep slopes, like,
I can see it from the photo.
yeah, oh, thank you, yes. So the only real other, and then his well is right here, so he's putting it kind of as far as he can without it being on a slope or kind of in the middle of his yard. It's really unique. Did I miss anything?
No, I think you pretty much covered it, yeah.
Yeah.
It's as far away from the wetlands as, and it's actually, if you can see the level, it's probably, I don't know, what would you say, about 8 or 10 feet up from the level of the wetlands, like as you're going up the yard.
Yeah,
So it
yeah.
doesn't, water doesn't even
Oh,
get within 50 feet of,
No.
it's actually gonna go pretty much, it's gonna start at where the screen porch kind of starts,
yeah.
or ends right there.
Yeah. So it's gonna be about right there.
Do you have to do any digging, or
There's no digging or
you're
anything.
just gonna
Yep,
plop
just
it
gonna
down?
go on center blocks, just gonna, there's no disturbing of soil or anything.
Yep, that's it.
So it's,
How big is the shed?
It is going to be,
A 10 by 16.
thank you, 10 by 16 feet, which is under the 200 square foot total required for a building permit. So it's small enough where it doesn't require a building permit.
and it's gonna be greater than 50 feet away from the resource area, right?
Yep, yeah. That's as far as he can get it, really, before the slope picks up too much. Yeah, the closest portion is just about 50 feet.
And there's no other place on the lot it can go, huh?
No, not anywhere else would be closer. 'Cause
No, it can't go up in that corner on the left-hand side, that area?
So that actually, that makes it look a little bigger than it is. But, so the setback, the variance that I got last week from the zoning board, if you were to go 15 feet in, the whole backyard is pretty much septic and leach field. And if you were to go 15 feet in from either property line on the back or on the side, it would put it right in the middle of my septic leach field.
Yep,
And,
okay.
Like Andy said, both sides are steep slopes, and then the front of the property is just all lined by the wetlands. Or, it's almost like a baseball field, and my house is home plate. And then the wetlands are the outfield.
I went out to this property and it really is kind of,
Yeah, Andy did a site.
yeah, site walk. It really is kind of the only logical place for it to go and to be as kind of respectful to the wetlands as possible,
Yep.
in my opinion.
what are you gonna store in there, just
Lawnmower,
lawnmower?
yeah, my lawnmower, my, rakes, shovel,
Yep.
everything that, just basic shed stuff,
Okay.
so.
Sounds pretty straightforward. Somebody want to make a motion?
You're on a roll.
No, I haven't done any seconds today, so. Somebody else's turn.
All right, I'll make a I'll make a motion to approve the placement of the shed greater than 50 feet from the resource area at 30 Byfield Road.
Second.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, then we'll take a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Okay, so we'll issue that. So this is just GRDA, not an RDA. But,
Correct.
so just issue a
A letter.
Groveland permit letter.
Yep, will do. I'll get that into the mail to you probably within the next day or two.
All right, great, thank you. You're all set, or?
Yep, you're all
good
set.
to go.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. Appreciate your time.
Oh, amend that we're closing the hearing on that.
Okay.
Move to close the
And,
hearing.
and close the, oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, no
Appreciate it.
problem.
Thank you.
Okay, sure. All right, next we've got 6 Governors Road, Groveland RDA, right?
Yep.
Up, here we go.
There we go. This is going to be an above-ground pool, a 15 by 30 foot oval. It's approximately 75 feet from the wetlands. It's flat. Pretty straightforward as above-ground pools go. They weren't planning on adding like a deck or anything around it. Yeah, it's, I've been to the site, it's very flat to where it heads back. And there is a line of views maybe between that kind of like, oh, I have my pen. There's a line of views about right here that kind of like cuts it off. Yeah.
This is the lot that we approved the septic systems and the new addition, right?
Yep.
Okay,
So they're tucking it in kind of as close to the house as they can.
yep. Greater than 75. You guys remember this one? Over on Governors?
I don't.
They put a big addition on the side. It's
Take
like
your
a
word for it.
duplex now.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You remember
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
So it's pretty flat all the way.
Mm-hmm.
It slopes down
Like right.
very slightly to the resource area, but it's not significant. It's all grassed and everything else. Any other questions on this one? Okay. Somebody want to make a motion on this one then?
Motion to accept the pool per plan for 6 Governors Road, GRDA,
And close the hearing?
and close the hearing.
Yes.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded to accept the plan for the above-ground pool at 6 Governors Road and close the hearing. Any further discussion on that? No? We'll take a vote then. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous. Okay, same thing with this one, Groveland permit letter, right?
Yep.
All right. Next on the agenda is 268 Washington Street. Notice of intent, Groveland notice of intent, continued from our March meeting. And if you recall, we did our site visit on April 2nd. And we, when we were there,
Camera get that?
we asked for better erosion controls along the stream, and Annie went there. They did that the next day, and
Just in
Annie
time, it
went
looks
there
like.
and was all done.
That could have been messy.
Yep. Yeah, I went out early last week. I think maybe Tuesday.
Didn't rain as much as they said it would.
No.
but-
It didn't, it came in slow.
Yeah, Yeah, so it could've been way worse, but it looks like it, was needed. All right,
Mike, I think I have Greg's plans up there.
Yeah,
Oh, good,
We're getting professional.
good. So you may recall the last meeting, we,
You're welcome.
do I need the microphone too?
Oh, yes, I'm new at this. This is, we normally have people here doing this.
And you need to chew gum
Struggling.
too, so see if you can get up.
So the last hearing, we presented the project, and at that time, we hadn't heard back from DEP yet. The commission wanted to do a site visit. We did hear back from DEP, they had some comments. I spoke with the analyst, Pam Merrill, who was also the analyst on the prior notice of intent, and we were able to explain things, and she had no further comments.
was she
Nothing
the
changed.
circuit rider before?
She
Back in the,
was,
back in the day?
When she first got there, she was.
Okay,
and,
like 10, 12 years ago or
Yeah.
before?
Could
That's about right, but now she's one of their most experienced analysts, and really
Okay.
a stormwater expert.
Yeah,
Um,
great, good to hear.
Yeah, so we were able to work things out, and we had a site visit, I think, a couple weeks ago. The erosion controls were fixed, we just talked about that. Nothing on the plan has changed. Hopefully the site visit helped explain what's on the plan. It's a pretty busy plan. But the gist of it is, they're going to restore the altered BVW. They're going to restore the altered buffer zones on abutting properties. This is the one where a lot of work was done in the town of Groveland, which we discovered after we did our survey.
Mm.
And it was a big surprise to the property owners.
not only is it Town of Groveland land, it's Conservation Commission Town of Groveland land.
They've got a crash
Is
course.
your microphone on? Sorry.
Yeah,
Is
the
it
red
green?
light's on.
Oh, it's supposed to be green.
Yep.
No, green. Did
Oh,
you?
it's supposed to be green.
Yep.
All right, now it's working.
Green means go,
All
red
right.
means stop.
Sorry.
That's all right, I'll figure it out the next time.
Oh, hopefully I do
Us
too.
too, yeah.
So this is where they constructed their illegal crossing, and obviously not even on their property, wasn't put in accordance with the stream crossing standards. All that's coming out. The new design locates the crossing on their property. It was designed in accordance with the stream crossing standards. It's a very aggressive restoration plan. Monitoring is going to be critical here, just to keep it free of invasives that are going to try to come in. I know the commission talked about the need for some monumentation. I went over that with the clients. They fully understand. So wherever it makes sense, I think we had said at least 3, one here, and one here along that line. And then you're probably going to want some down here too along this line.
Think one of them would be able to double as a boundary marker?
Yeah, yeah. That's up to you. Where it's your land, we can straddle the property line with it. I imagine it's going to be the typical granite monuments with the placard on it. We've got a ton of erosion controls going in. Basically, just trying to pull everything off abutting properties and bring the site back into compliance.
Cool.
What do we want from monuments?
Well, I would put them more concentrated down below. I mean, isn't that, it's a kind of a steep off of the road, right? There's no,
Yeah, it drops off probably about 5 or 6 feet.
so maybe right at the bottom of the hill, and then,
With the
and if we,
boundary,
This is a lot line here.
that's the lot line.
hmm
the
and this is
conservation side,
ours.
we can put them right on the property.
This is
line,
yours.
right?
This is ours, okay.
I think
Yep.
that's-
Yeah,
Yep. And part of the problem is it's wetland, it's riverfront area, it's, so you almost want to mark along the property line and probably along the edge of woods. Typically we do the no disturb
Property line is a
zone.
lot closer than the area we want to protect.
Right, right,
So there might be 2 different sets of markers.
right.
One of them saying Groveland property, one of them saying wetlands,
Yeah,
you
but
know.
I guess, if we put them on the conservation, we can put anything we want on the plaques, right?
Right.
So,
But what I'm saying is, the property line goes right through the stream. And so, we're gonna want some sort of marker further away than that, just to keep the protected area, you know, further away than just the property line. We don't wanna say just, we don't just wanna say,
oh,
don't mess with our property. We also wanna say, don't mess with this part of your property.
Yeah,
That make sense?
I mean, it might make sense to put some along here, facing this direction, that's a, town of Groveland conservation land.
Right,
And then once you get down in this location, forget about the property line,
right.
along the edge of disturbance just enough for the roadway and a small shoulder,
Right, don't go beyond here.
because the BBW is right there.
And I don't think we need too much to define the property line, probably just two to define the property line.
Yep.
I think the protection is more important than the delineation.
two up top and then on the other side, and
Because
side of the stream.
all this is coming out too, all the stone, fill piles, this is all getting planted. So I think, probably something in here would make sense, along the edge of that wetland, just off the new driveway.
And what is that, that's about 100 feet, the area that you just indicated, linear feet?
Yeah, so this plan's 1 inch equals 10.
Well, that's hard to tell on the projection, isn't it?
Yeah, so,
So it's about maybe 80 feet.
down in here,
Yeah,
maybe not even, it's probably more like 50.
yeah, okay. So I think two in that stretch would be plenty.
Mhm.
And then two
On the other side.
up there
property.
on the extremes, more as boundary markers than, or doubling as boundary markers.
Maybe
I like that idea.
A minimum of 4, and then you could word the conditions such that if during the pre-construction meeting it makes sense to put them elsewhere, you have the discretion to add some more if you choose to.
I like that.
Yeah.
And I don't think it would be unreasonable. We're not gonna turn it into a granite quarry there, but, if we think we need 1 or 2 more, I don't think that's unreasonable.
No, and like I said, the Copolas, they're on board with whatever the commission wants to do.
Yeah,
So we can say a minimum of 4 markers,
And then at the discretion of the pre-construction meeting, maybe?
yeah.
Maybe have them staked out for the pre-construction meeting where they're proposed to go, and then we can decide then.
Sure, we can do that.
sounds pretty straightforward and reasonable.
Any other questions or concerns?
The commission did talk about timing of when it makes sense to do this work, and I think the discussion was during low flow periods.
Okay, yeah.
We had talked about late July, August.
Yep. Put that in.
And there's no turtle habitat that we're worried about down there?
Nothing's mapped, but like I said on the site walk, it's a pretty valuable resource area. I saw a ton of crayfish, and
Oh, right, you mentioned the crayfish, yeah.
I'll bet there's a lot of turtles in the pond up there.
Right.
probably
If I were
is.
a turtle, I'd be up there.
Do they have control over the level of the pond? Like, could they do any kind of restriction? I don't know, we didn't get up there, obviously, and,
I think the answer is yes, they could control it, but whether or not they're allowed to, that's a different question.
And they're probably not that excited about doing anything else.
There is a point where you can put splash boards in, but they don't touch it.
okay.
It is a perennial stream, so it's not supposed to dry up, but it does get pretty low in the summer.
Okay. Just thinking, I don't know if we're gonna have what the rainy situation will be, and even if they had the capability of, one board or something like that for a temporary amount of time. I don't know.
It'd be nice to be able to shut it down for a day or two while they dismantle the existing crossing. Because that's a culvert in
Right.
the channel, and I'd like to get in there and be
That's
able to
gonna
reconstruct
cause a lot
it.
of erosion,
Yep.
yeah.
What,
I don't know who
what does
has
it,
say
yeah,
over that.
yeah.
Well, I mean, we had our plan was to pump water around while we did the work.
Yep,
And I've done that before.
yeah,
and
that's
it's-
typically what we've done before too, same thing, over on Center
That's what I was
Street.
just thinking, yeah.
You just put a sump in, and then once you're done, you remove it. I think that,
Would be a lot easier
That's
just to shut it
easiest.
down for a few hours.
yeah.
Yeah. But again, I don't know, who has,
Doesn't need to go,
Jurisdiction, would
it's not
DEP be?
Army Corps of Engineers or anything crazy like that, is it?
I don't know. Frank probably knows.
Uncharted territory.
Yeah, I'm not sure, honestly. We should probably stick with the plan, which is just to pump the water around. That way we keep the flow going.
okay.
Fewer dead crawfish.
Right.
Anything else?
I don't think so. Let's see. No, I don't have any other items.
Annie, you remember anything?
Oh,
Are we happy with the erosion control now?
Oh, I'm happy.
So there's going to be more too. Before construction, we've got a lot more going in.
Okay.
did we get the one-day waiver fee?
For the erosion
Or for
control
the
work,
Sunday
not
work or
yet.
whatever.
I can add that to my list for
Yep.
the letter that I'll send out.
Yep. Okay. So I'll move that we close the hearing on 268 Washington Street and issue an orders of condition and bylaw permit for the restoration of the stream and surrounding resource areas as submitted on the plan with a minimum 4 markers that will be determined at the pre-construction meeting for placement and wording.
Second.
Okay, any other questions, further discussion on the motion?
Nothing's gonna be started until July?
Well, they'll put the erosion
I
controls in.
think the stream work should wait until dry months, but I suppose they could start on the other stuff as long as they've complied with all the pre-construction items. They probably want to target a growing season, and realistically, it would be good to get these in before the fall growing season. I know they're anxious to put it behind them, but planting in the summer is not a great idea.
Yeah, there's really no reason why, after they go through the appeal period, why they can't have a pre-construction meeting and then time the things to make sense and leave the stream crossing till the late summer.
Yeah, I mean, if they had the ability to pick away at this year and then target the fall growing season, I think they'd prefer that.
Yeah,
And then holding off on the work in the water until
right.
late July, early August.
Okay. I guess we're ready to take a vote then. All in favor of the motion for 268 Washington Street, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, unanimous.
Thank you for your patience with this one.
Thank you for all your work with this one.
Thank you.
All right, I'll make a motion to close the hearing
Thank you.
portion of the meeting at 7:55 PM.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor? Aye. Unanimous. That was 7:55.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so we'll pick up where we left off on the other items. So the next thing is 104 King Street, and this is a discussion about our filing request. So just for background information, we sent a letter after the DEP made a decision, and we got a copy of it. We sent a request to the Fioris to have them file for a local notice of intent, a bylaw notice of intent known as GNOI, and also a local ANRAD filing, which we call a GANRAD, to address the DEP work that was in their approval. So here's some facts in the case. So DEP did its investigations, visits, negotiations, and issued an administrative consent order, which has been signed by all parties. And the administrative consent order will require work in jurisdictional areas, our bylaw jurisdictional areas besides theirs, and it's very similar to a regular DEP order of condition, except that DEP does it rather than us. And up till now, there have been no filings with us under the bylaw or agreement by us of the jurisdictional areas under the bylaw. So that was why we sent that letter. But since we sent that letter, Annie and I had a phone call, follow-up with the DEP analyst in charge, and her thought was just for us to consider an enforcement order on this rather than a bylaw permit. But I personally, I don't agree with that. But I'll stop before I say anything else about it and just see if you have any questions about what I just said. So you're all with me as far as where we're at. DEP has ordered a bunch of work to be done in the wetland jurisdiction areas.
Similar
And-
to the case that we just had.
Yes, right, exactly. It's similar, very similar to that. They didn't issue an ACO in that case. They just said, you better get this fixed or else. So I think that we should continue our request for the GANRAD filing to agree to what the bylaw jurisdictional areas are, and then second of all, to request the Groveland notice of intent so that all the work that's being permitted by DEP is also permitted by us under the bylaw. So pretty much what they've already ordered to be done will be permitted by us to be done under the bylaw. And like Stephanie says, this is similar to what we do to any other post-project filing where somebody did the work and then we find out about it. We ask them to go through the process even though it's already been done. In this case, we'll be actually permitting the work that DEP is requiring, so we're not going to have a say in the work that's done. It's just that we are going to go through the process to permit it under our bylaw.
And we'll have a record of it.
Yes, right.
Yeah, okay, that seems reasonable.
So we agree to keep our current position then? Yeah. Annie, do you have anything to add to that? I'm sorry, I left you out.
Okay, sorry, I think you encompassed what Libby said well.
Yeah. I'm not sure why
I think the main issue she saw with potentially issuing a Groveland order of conditions was that it would be appealable.
Oh, yeah,
And if it
right.
was appealable and got caught up in the court system, they wouldn't be able to do any of the work.
Well, I mean, if we were careful about the orders of condition so that it wasn't something that would require appealing.
Who's gonna be appealing? Abutters?
I mean, anyone could
Anyone
technically
could, but
appeal.
How many,
and
how many,
she was giving it as broad advice.
Right,
It
right.
wasn't necessarily specific to this case. She just said that that is an issue she's seen in the past come up where things get bogged down in courts. And so if you do move forward, that just to be aware. I don't think she was
right. I
trying
mean,
to
I think in this
target
case,
this
the
case.
applicants wanna get it done with and in the rearview mirror. Any abutters would like to see it resolved, right? We'd like to see it resolved. We like seeing you guys, but, you know, there's probably other better places to do that. So, yeah, let's just,
Let's just follow the process this time.
exactly,
Push it. Follow the process.
yep.
Please.
My understanding is there are applications or forms for some of the items that was requested. You know, I don't mind being treated the same way as 268 is being treated. But if you're creating forms, or if you're telling us to file forms that don't exist, that's unreasonable.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a reasonable order of conditions or a notice of intent is to do the work that the DEP has agreed to. So if you're going to put things over and above what the DEP is asking, yeah, that is appealable.
Okay, but I don't think
I
we're
don't think
planning,
we were.
are we planning on doing that? Okay,
No.
so
no.
we're not planning on doing that.
As long, so it will mirror what the DEP
Exactly,
requested.
exactly.
Right.
Yeah, because we have our order and what we're gonna restore. So
Right.
A lot of this comes, back on us creating the file.
Right, right.
So you obviously want the wetlands to be, restored or, bordering vegetated areas that DEP has identified. And we already have an order to work on all that. So, and obviously it's in their town.
And
So,
even
I
going
mean,
into this,
I understand you guys wanna note it, but, we already have an order. that we
Right,
need to
right.
follow, right? I mean, I think there's, possibly other ways to look at his, farm maintenance or something like that, that you could look at later down the road, but we specifically have marching orders to restore the wetlands.
Right.
or bordering
It
vegetated.
could be as simple as ordering us to submit to the Concom whatever we submit to the DEP.
love that.
You know,
Yeah.
keep it simple.
Yeah, yeah,
Because right now, we don't have all the numbers for our restoration plan, so
right,
what am I gonna put on the form?
right, right,
Just
right.
Struggling to figure out, what we'd be applying for, we can say.
Yeah,
DEP
no, we
Restoration orders.
we agreed to defer to the state months ago.
Yeah, no,
And
yeah,
at this
exactly.
point, everything seems to be going the way that nobody's completely happy. It's good compromise. Nobody's happy, but nobody's super unhappy. And right now, we said, okay, what they wanted to do, what they set up sounds reasonable.
Yeah.
Let's get it done.
He knows he's on the hot seat, because we have the order to follow.
Right, right.
And I know I am too, because I got to meet all those
You
deadlines.
gotta do all
So
that stuff.
filing more stuff
Yeah. Yeah.
would be sort of an obstacle at this point. But we certainly, could keep the commission updated. We have no problem with that. But adding a whole nother layer to it, right
No, we're
now.
not planning on piling anything on top of that. We just want,
Yeah, and we can certainly set timelines to come in front of the commission on when we finalize, get approval of the restoration plan from DEP, we can formally present that. Obviously have to look for his permission to do that, but I can speak for him. But, that could be something we could present, updates on that and the schedules, just like he said, previously on the restoration, we'd probably do in a low flow situations
right.
too, and, go through all the details of
Right.
our planning and what's gonna
well,
happen.
and that
out there.
doesn't even need to be done in a hearing. That can just be, you know, as long as we're on a monthly basis, a little report or whatever.
A
Okay.
memo or something.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, there's no need, again, love seeing you guys. I
know.
But it doesn't have to be in person, could just be just a.
We can submit to Annie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that, you know, getting the Groveland ANRAD filed, you should be able to do that. Annie and I can help with what exactly we're looking for on that, but that's pretty much, you already have all the data, I think, to file that with us.
Okay.
And then the Groveland Notice of Intent, it could be you file, but over time, we get through it. Like the previous
Yeah, that was kind of
filing,
my, yeah.
again, took 2 years. They were,
Okay.
from the time it was originally filed with us till we closed it. So we may go through that same process.
Believe me, we don't wanna take 2 years.
Yeah,
We're under the thumb of the
Sure.
DEP, and they're not gonna let us take 2 years.
right,
So I don't care what they were doing there. We'd like to get the project rolling and moving and the site's so done.
right. So, you know, but if it takes a few months to define what it is you're actually getting, because you don't have all the data, we can do that too.
As long as it doesn't conflict with the DEP.
Yeah, no,
Believe me, they've got a bigger club than you do.
right.
We do know
We
that.
realize that. We,
Yeah, I just, like, for me, like, right now,
What would we have for a timeline to submit both of those? I mean, when do you want to see both of those?
well, I,
That should be.
yeah, the
Okay.
the INRAD portion could be probably right away.
We have to get official approval from DEP on their sign off of that.
Yep.
So we don't have that officially
Okay.
yet.
Yep,
So that's why, you know, until we get DEP approval on some of these items, we can't officially file that resource
Sure.
request.
so,
Because they have to sign off on our final. We've gone through drafts and we're working to the final. It would be basically a wetland resource plan. So we haven't gotten final approval from DEP on that.
My understanding
We've
is-
submitted it and working on it,
Yeah.
but
That we would be allowed to see the plans as the DEP saw the plans.
yeah, yeah. They said they would send it to us.
again, I guess we want this for documentation because we have bylaws and this will satisfy by going through the process. But I see no issue with just, when you apply, you don't have to put a lot of the data in if you just say per DEP orders. I mean, we agree.
We've agreed to that, you've agreed
Yeah.
to that,
So-
just then,
so it's
you know,
like
who's
we
not
have to
agreeing?
hash out. I don't think we have a lot of hashing out of what's gonna be there, so, I mean, I'm fine with just getting the form and then stapling anything you get from DEP or have to give DEP to it. That
Yep.
to me is.
Yep,
okay.
right. I think it's primarily a paper
Yeah.
process.
Cool.
So Annie and I will work with you on that.
Okay, good, perfect.
And that's it, right?
Yeah, that's it on,
That's kind of goes off in a whisper, huh?
No,
Shouldn't it
and
be-
we've been working with DEP. There's been conversations back and forth. I did request the last time I was here that we receive any communications back and forth from the Concom to the DEP, and I'm not aware that we've received any unless there have been none.
We
But
had any? Not since,
I
I
had
think,
a
I think
I
the
had-
last ones were the
Just the receival of the ACOP, and then I had two calls with Libby, the one just myself and her, and then one with
okay,
Mike,
no,
myself, and
that's
Stephanie.
fine. I hadn't seen anything. I
Yeah.
just don't want it to fall through the cracks.
Unless you want to see us trying to organize a meeting date.
No, that's
which-
fine.
I'm happy to send it over, but I didn't think.
I spend enough time with the DEP.
Yeah, no, it's been nothing.
all right,
Thank you.
So
I'll wait-
I want to hear from you guys, Annie, if you wanna just touch base on
Yeah, absolutely.
schedule and filing.
Yeah, maybe me, Mike, and you can organize a time to get into the nitty-gritty.
Okay, perfect.
I think that would be beneficial.
Okay.
Onwards.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for your time. Thank you.
Okay, so the next thing is the 139 King Street stump grinding issue, right?
Yes, it is.
Well, those are some bad-looking trees.
Oh, I know.
One in the middle looks okay, but what happened to the other ones?
Is that at your house?
Boar
No.
beetle. So
Double digits.
So 139 King Street, I spoke about them last month and that they had to cut down the trees. And you asked for more information from them on their, how they were planning on grinding the trees. Mike and I, when we were out at 142 King Street, 139 King Street is right across the street, and so we just walked on over. And spoke with the homeowner there, and he used to work in landscaping, so he was just planning on renting a grinder and doing the work himself. It was going to be pretty straightforward. It wasn't going to be large equipment. It wasn't going to be anything like that.
So those
What's the
three,
question?
Yeah, well,
these three are in the buffer zone.
Yeah, oh yeah, they're in the buffer zone.
So the question is can we just allow them, that work to be done without any further filing? You know, they've already filed with us for all the other work. You know, this is the site where they're doing the addition in the back of the house and the septic system. They had to cut down a bunch of trees. There's erosion controls all around on the site. And these are right next to the driveway in the front.
And how
So,
far from the wetlands?
well, a couple of them are probably 25 feet
Oh,
away.
so pretty close.
Yeah.
But
They
it's
weren't gonna
just,
be there for long.
No.
Yeah, that Collins Family Tree Service were the folks who had come do the tree service for the trees that they had to take down for the septic system, and from the homeowners retelling, Collins basically said, I can't in good faith not take these trees down because of how bad they look.
yeah, no, they're good. We've used them.
Yeah.
Actually, both of us use them. They have a, I don't want to say ethical, but they have a
Your best.
good feeling of the right, yeah, they have the homeowners and the trees' best interests
Yeah.
in mind from what we've seen.
Yeah, and I've heard from other residents at other properties that Collins tree, like if someone's like, oh, can you take that tree down? They're like, nope, too close to the wetland. So,
Yeah, they're pretty
Yeah.
conscious of it, yeah. So, is this a pretty flat area?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so if somebody just goes in there and grinds it and there's a pile of wood chips,
Yeah.
it's not gonna,
no, he has a pile of wood chips going already that he has stockpiled further
Yeah.
away from the wetlands, and he was just planning on adding them to that.
yeah. I don't see that this is a big deal.
Those
Does
are
he need
ash
a letter
bor-
or something?
ash borers.
Oh,
Yeah. I would recommend a letter just so we have,
a record
yep.
that it didn't happen without us, yeah. That
Somebody-
sounds fine.
Why don't we take a vote? Someone make a motion to approve it.
Move to allow the stump grinding on 139 King without any special erosion controls and a letter to document this stump grinding. Terrible ending.
Second.
Ooh, tie goes to Bill, I think.
Ty doesn't go to chair.
I motioned. Oh, to the chair, I thought you said.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous.
Boom.
Okay, so let's see, seasonal waiver. All right, the next thing are the seasonal waiver information. So Annie, I'll turn it over to you.
Sounds good. The very last page in your meeting packet is a draft of a letter I plan on sending to those who have opened seasonal waivers with us this year and have not yet given us a check. And I just wanted to run it by you. if there were any additions, subtractions.
It seems pretty
Comments,
non-aggressive. It seems pretty straightforward. It seems, maybe if you can get us a list, if there are any people that don't respond to this,
Oh, yeah.
then just let us know so we can.
If they don't respond to this, they don't get a certificate of compliance. If it was a RDA, it's not requiring a certificate of compliance, but
Yeah,
we put them on the bad list, and Rebecca won't be issuing anything to them if they don't pay that. So that usually gets
So that is
everybody to pay.
documented in City Hall
Yeah,
for
we,
future permitting.
right.
okay.
Yeah, I have a running list going of who we've,
Should we add that in
Yeah, I
here?
was gonna say, why not just say, your
If-
the
if
certificate of compliance will not
Failure to
be.
pay results in, right.
I wouldn't say that because this is a pretty friendly
Yeah,
letter.
I think that's letter number 2, maybe.
Yeah, right. When
Is
they,
there a letter
I
number
agree
2?
that,
if
If
by
they
next
don't
meeting they
pay.
haven't responded, absolutely.
yeah, I mean,
Okay.
the seasonal, the seasonal restriction's over on Friday.
Right.
yeah,
So if they haven't come around by the second Wednesday of May, then letter number 2 goes out. And letter number 2 is a little more forceful, I would imagine.
yeah.
Yeah, and it-
We're relying on them to self-report. We're treating them like adults. We hope that they respond accordingly.
Okay.
But no need to threaten anybody until letter number 2.
All right, so that letter's good.
Okay. I'll get those out probably beginning of next week.
Yeah, so you just tell me when and I'll come and sign them.
Yes, yeah. I'll send you the drafts of all of them. So you can take a look before you sign them.
Next is the final seasonal waiver sheet, which is
The second to last page.
on there. So this is everything we talked about at our last meeting.
Correct.
Annie made the change about when the fees are payable and when they contact us about changing from the type of waiver, if that's applicable.
Yeah.
Is this going to town meeting?
No,
Okay, it's just.
this is a procedural thing.
Okay, all right. Well, this is nice.
Yeah, no, it's good.
It's, I think it makes sense. I think it's fair. I think it is explicit. It should cut down a lot of the inconsistencies and lack of understanding that has potentially happened before. So, big fan. Are we moving on this?
Well, for the NA under developer business, is that because nobody has a septic who is a developer or business? Like, I thought Chesterton was on septic, for example.
They are. The reason we did that is because we gave single-family residents a break on it. So the reason developers don't have that is because they're not getting a break, and no matter what, it'll be 400.
Oh,
Yeah,
copy that.
yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
No,
Nice.
I
Move to accept this.
The new waiver schedule.
It's a joint motion, I guess.
I'm sorry.
is there a second on that?
Second.
Any further discussion?
Who's a second on
It's the joint
Terry's.
one.
this? Joint one?
Terry, sorry. I'm sorry.
All in favor?
Hearing none, we'll take a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Okay, Annie, some program coordinator updates.
Sure. I had a site visit this morning over at the sewer project. Yes, I sent an email about it. Because of the timing of the paving of the community trail and Mass DOT having, I think, a 10-year no-cut policy on any of their projects. Tropiano, the company who's doing the community trail, is doing the first 60 or 65 feet of the sewer project. Because otherwise it's not going to happen for a very long time, because like they discussed at our site visit, they can't do directional drilling. They would have to do an open cut.
Right.
So they're planning on starting that next Tuesday. And yeah, like I said, it's only about 60 to 65 feet. They're literally just getting it over the trail. Yep. So I did that with Colin, our water and sewer superintendent. Lucas Environmental will be there doing the turtle sweeps. They've already been doing the turtle sweeps for the community trail, and so they're kind of just going to double up in that area doing the turtle sweeps for the community trail and this little portion of the sewer project.
We started seeing turtles yet?
I don't know, but I saw a snake while I was there that was either pregnant or had just eaten something.
Whoa.
And I saw a dead bird, which was sad.
What kind of bird?
It was yellow.
Oh, that is sad.
Not a water bird.
I saw a snake last week, and
Yeah, of course I took pictures. The bird, it was very sad.
Goldfinch.
Goldfinch.
Do we have to report dead birds to the, no, because of the flu?
oh, avian flu
Yeah, do we have to?
or West Nile
You're not
virus.
even right now supposed to touch dead birds
That was
with your bare hands.
This is the snake.
Oh,
Ooh.
little garter snake.
Yeah. Very
They
cool.
eat mouses.
But I digress.
So
Well,
last
some are live,
night,
some are eggs.
when I was trying to go to sleep, maybe it was like 3 a.m., I remembered that we are required to notify our CR holder on all of that properties about this work being done, which we have not done.
On Sewell Street, you mean?
No, on
268 Washington?
no,
The sewer project.
the sewer project. You know, we have a CR on the former Mattingly property where the stream crossing is, and then it extends into the former busing property.
Yeah.
Again, that was added last year on that same CR. So we've got to notify Essex County Greenbelt that this work is going to be done, or we're going to violate our own
Yeah, we don't want to do that.
thing. So we've gotten to, luckily, they haven't started the work.
Okay, I'll get that out. Because of how little, they might only be in the national grid right of way. So we might be okay, but we'll still notify them. But
Yes.
if there's like a timing issue.
Well, right.
But, I
We're
mean,
just
we'll
going to notify them that, and we can, what I would suggest is we'll send them a copy of our
Notice of intent.
whole permit, so they know, they've got a record of it in a letter that accompanies that said, did we get a timetable from them yet?
For this, they're planning on starting on Tuesday, and it should take about 4 to 5 working days.
Okay, so we'll send them that, and then when we get further time, we'll tell them that we'll send them any other further timetables on the remainder of the work.
I believe the remainder of the work wasn't going to be happening until the late fall, early
Yeah,
winter.
but at least we've
Yep.
satisfied the
Yep.
Definitely.
requirement to notify them. And we're also supposed to notify Natural Heritage about the restoration, the building of the new 8-acre portion. But we don't have to do that yet, but I gotta see if we need to do that, or if they've already encompassed the work that's being done under the permit. They already know about that, so we may not have to, but it probably wouldn't hurt to send them a letter.
Natural heritage. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I know Colin has been in close contact with David Paulson from Natural Heritage
right.
about this, so I don't know if David Paulson was the one who was coordinating the restoration
I think
habitat.
He's their man,
Okay.
their person over in this part of
The world.
state, so.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. What else have I been up to? I took an MACC course in land management. I've been taking Alicia Gillen, our circuit rider for this area. She's been doing agent corner classes. So that's kind of like if there have been questions popping up, she talks about them. This last meeting was about riverfront and things that people often run into with that. And then the next installment is going to be on all things enforcement with Libby Sabujan. Tough last name. And yeah, so I've been working on that. The biggest project I've been working on is going through the old Concom files. We're moving. Woo. Everything in town hall is more or less is getting rearranged. So I will be moving into Rennie, the highway department office, right over there. So I'm very slowly working through our files to try to get them condensed, just so I'm not swimming in cabinet files in my new office. It's not looking good. It's not looking good. It's
I have
taking
faith.
a long time.
What are you doing? I mean,
So, like, there are a few files that have like 8 copies of plans and 8 copies of notices of intent. So it's really, I have the record retention schedule, and I reached out to Alicia from DEP about like best practices. But our record retention schedule, we only have to keep 1 copy of plans, and that's it once the certificate of compliance has been issued, which is not what I'm doing because that feels scary.
Yeah.
Because then I'm not doing that. But that is technically all we need to keep. Crazy. Anyway, I mean, obviously, like certain things we need to keep for a certain amount of time, but like once all of those kind of are forever files is just a copy of the plans, and then we have to write down what the book and page for the certificate of compliance are. But anyway, I'm going through that. That's been a big project because hopefully we'll be moving within the next week or 2.
You need help?
I would love help.
that's what I was
Yeah.
getting to, if you can handle unskilled.
I mean,
Right.
as far as going through files, I'm just as unskilled. So it's really just kind of identifying when there are like duplicates and things like that. And you do have to write like them down because you have to ask permission to throw things away, essentially.
What day are you in the office?
I'm in the office Monday through Thursday, pretty consistently, from like 8:45 to about 4:15. It depends on if I'm doing a site visit, but I usually schedule those pretty
Okay.
like,
So I could give you a couple hours tomorrow, or maybe next week.
yeah, definitely let me know. I'm
Fun.
like, if in the morning you're like, I have time today, just shoot me an email and I probably have a few hours that I'm more than happy to welcome guests.
Okay.
Um,
I'll bring breakfast.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Okay.
And then beyond that, regular site visits. They put the boards back in. The highway department has put the boards back in at Johnson's Pond, so that's filling up. I purchased the MACC handbook, and I'm reading through that like it's a college textbook with my pen and paper in hand. It's probably going to fill up a whole notebook. And then other than that, the only thing that we kind of have coming down the pipeline that I'm aware of is that they are replacing the culvert on Uptak Road.
By Mike's house?
Yep. At the end there. They're going to be replacing that, and they'll be filing with us.
Go to Groveland anymore. I have to go to Georgetown.
Yes, it is going to cause about a month-long road closure.
Really?
That's what they're anticipating.
Just on Uptak or also Washington?
Just on Uptak.
Okay, good.
At Washington would
Well, I'm
suck.
never stopping by your house
Don't,
because I'm not going home.
Yeah. So they're,
I'm gonna talk to Rennie anyway, or no? Yeah. About the elderflowers over there too.
oh, yeah.
Oh, I don't know. The plan is only at 50% done by the engineers, so probably not next month, probably the month after. They'll be doing that.
Month. Seems like a lot.
Well, we also don't have enough funding from the grant that we got.
Oh,
The
boy.
projection has gone, so we need to ask the state for more money. And we're not getting sidewalks. Those are too expensive.
On
And
Uptak?
also, yeah. Well, we were going to design the culvert to accommodate sidewalks for future.
It would be nice to have
Sidewalks?
sidewalks right there because of the entrance to the pond. right?
Yes. Part of the reason is that right now with how expensive everything is,
Yeah.
it's like, I mean, like I said, we're already above budget. And then the other portion of it is that I went out there with the engineers, Rennie and Rebecca, and to add the sidewalks, you would have to do an insane amount of stream bank restoration. And I don't know how comfortable you guys would feel with the amount of work they would have to do on the stream bank. So
Okay.
it was a lot because they would have to like bring it out like 5 feet from the current road outline, and then so once they bring it out, they have to do it at exactly. So it would have to go like
Yeah,
minimum like 20 feet
So there
into
would go
Meadow
all the elder
Pond.
yeah. No,
You
that's,
seen
that's,
the crossing on the Parker River that's on the Georgetown side? That's what they would have to do.
I don't. You'll have to point it to me. I'm not.
So if you continue on my street towards Georgetown, right?
Yep.
There's right after you leave Groveland, you cross the Parker River, and there's a small crossing there.
is that in
And they-
Boxford or Georgetown?
That's in Georgetown.
Georgetown.
They left room for a sidewalk there.
Oh. I'm gonna go look at that. I don't remember it off the top of my head,
Middle
but
of nowhere,
I
right?
don't remember that.
Yeah, between Groveland and Georgetown.
It's on Uptak.
Well, it's on West Street there.
Oh, it turns into West Street. Okay.
You'll see it.
West. Okay.
Just for reference
Yeah.
purposes, you know. 'Cause it really, it sounds like it's out of our hands,
Yeah.
unless we want to take a collection
Nope.
of people who live on Uptak Road.
Yeah, and it was kind of more of an optimistic planning thing, like, oh, we'll be able to like eventually do sidewalks and the culvert will already be ready for it. But it's just, I don't know if it's going to be feasible.
There are a lot
If-
of roads in this town that need sidewalks
my
before
God.
Uptak.
If
not
there
to-
were-
That's not right now, it's just a nightmare.
If we had a sidewalk on my street except for the bridge, I would be very happy with that.
Yeah, so that's the only thing that's I can think of right now that's kind of coming that I know is coming our way.
Yes. Oh, so under calls, meetings, and upcoming projects, tell us quickly about the master plan.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I did do the
Thank you, Mike.
survey.
Thank you.
Me too.
Thank you. Have you sent it to everyone you know?
No, but I can.
Please send it to everyone you know. So, Mike is on the steering committee for this, and I am helping Rebecca coordinate it. So, Groveland does not currently have a comprehensive master plan. We received a grant to create such. We're working with great folks over at Ines Associates and Foreman Place. They're really great. We right now are kind of in the collection phase. They've been spending a lot of time looking at historical data from us. We have a draft master plan from like 2001 that they've been looking through. And so on.
It's old.
It's very old. I
It
have,
might be older than 2001. That
that's
may
the
be when
most
they-
recent draft I have.
That may be when they stopped, when they just gave up all hope.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
and-
never voted on.
It was never voted on, yeah. So the stakeholder meetings, which you should all 100% come to, are going to be May 10th, 12th, and 14th. Each one is focused around a different node in town. So there's one more specifically about Elm Park. There's one more specifically about VZ Park and Washington Street and 150 Center Street. And then there's one more specifically targeted around the Route 97 corridor.
Sorry,
That's just,
I had a tamale for dinner and
that wasn't
hot
about
sauce
the Route
that-
97 corridor. That
Yes. So kind of like from Nicole's down to the Georgetown line. And so each one is going to be talking about a different portion of that, what people want to see in town, what people want to see in those areas. It's going to be great. I'm very excited about it. We've already, as of, I think, Monday, we had received like 26 responses already, and that was before I sent out an email to everyone I know in town.
Should we send it to like the Garden Club and the Friends of Easy and everybody?
I've sent it to the Friends of VZ already,
Okay.
to Vanessa and Carol to
Diane.
disperse to their lists. I was trying to target people who I knew had like Friends of VZ has a 900 and some odd newsletter, like their MailChimp has a
Yeah.
ton of
I mean, the
people.
Garden Club
Yeah,
might
a
be
lot
good
of
one,
those
too.
people
Yeah.
aren't in Groveland, but most of them aren't, but
That's okay. But I guess, yeah. You do, I mean, but we want business owners to take it who have businesses here but don't live here necessarily. But the garden club is definitely someone I did not think of. But yes, so
I mean, if we give it to Diane, Diane can send it to the garden club.
yeah, so I'll send it to Diane because I know I'm certain I have her email.
Those are in-person meetings
Yes.
The
in
12th
here.
is my
Yes.
nursing dinner.
Yep, 10th, 12th, and 14th. The 14th is Saturday. Yeah, so it's really exciting. Yeah, just very excited about it. And then the one other thing I will also mention is that we have a MVP grant, so mass vulnerability preparedness grant that we have going on right now, gathering information for the Johnson watershed.
Okay.
And if you have any kind of like memories of a really bad storm with really bad flooding or anything like that, please send it my way. Or it's kind of complicated to do, but on our MyMap system that we have online, you can also provide feedback for that. But if you just, it honestly would be easier if you just send it to me and I can just input it on the system because it's not
Can you
straightforward.
send that out, send that last draft thing out to everybody? The one from the guy there.
David Nader?
Hmm?
David Nader, David Roman,
Yeah, right.
the draft for that?
Yeah,
Okay.
send that out to everyone because it addresses quite a few of our
Yeah.
areas.
Just curious, Mike, what happened to Johnson's Pond during the Mother's Day flood? Was that whole area at the bottom of your street? Was that?
No,
or is it just-
no, it didn't. It was mostly wound up being a problem like Salem Street.
Yeah.
I think it was washing over portions of Salem Street and then
Washington
definitely
Street.
down on Main and Washington, yeah.
Yeah. I know we have data from the Mother's Day storm on Lower Center Street at that culvert over there. I know, yes, yeah. I know that.
Need a 100-year storm for that one.
No. Rennie remembers it being like they had to put Jersey barriers and have it closed. So, and I know I've mentioned in the past, but Rennie and I are really trying to power through with a MEMA. It's the Massachusetts FEMA grant, hazard mitigation grant, to get some very vulnerable culverts in town fixed. There's one over near St. Patrick's Church on Center Street that we are looking at. That one's in really rough shape. The Lower Center Street one will probably not qualify because there's a really strict benefit cost analysis that these culverts have to reach. And from, I know, it's really, they have like $100 million and it's like, you really got to work for that money. But there's another grant we have kind of more pinpointed towards that, and the MVP grant, it can be used for many different things, but culvert replacement is one of them. So we're looking at to replace a lot of culverts because we have a lot of
Isn't
issues.
that how all the drainage along Main Street got put in? Didn't Arcalian get a bunch of money about 15 years ago?
Longer than 15.
Yeah, so, okay, I'm an
Yeah.
old guy.
It was like about 25.
No, it wasn't that long, because I've only been here 25, so.
Well, it was somewhere in that vicinity, 20, 25.
Let's call it 20, we'll call it 20. But
Yeah,
I
that's
guess
when
it was
they-
after the the October 96 floods. And,
Email me about those floods so I can add it into our data.
okay,
Thank you. I'm squeezing people for information because
yeah,
We've
that
not
was the
gotten
first,
much.
that was the first 100-year flood that I was aware of here.
yeah. Okay.
Of 3.
Well,
In the
email me
space-
about those other
In the space
two.
of 10, in the space of 10 years.
But yeah, so culvert replacement grants we're working on. Yeah, lots of.
Oh, so it flooded last year on Mother's Day?
No,
the
this is like
Mother's Day was-
15 years ago.
Oh.
Yeah.
So that's
No,
why
there
the-
literally were
I
300-year
know what-
floods in the space
I
of
don't know
10
what
years.
You're talking about, okay.
I wasn't here.
Another upcoming meeting is on next Tuesday, the 19th.
Yep.
With hopefully Senator Tarr, Representative Mira, and our friend at Lower Center Street, meeting with Rebecca, myself, Annie,
On the
Rennie.
17th,
19th.
19th.
Thursday.
No, Tuesday.
Tuesday's, am I in the wrong year?
Maybe. Today's the
Oh,
13th.
it's April, not me. I'm sorry. Tuesday the 19th,
Yes.
I'm working. Okay.
So, so that'll be an interesting meeting. Trying to get all on the same page because he still is pursuing things, claiming that the town is not doing its work and job and insulting.
Even though we have the plan,
Yeah, right.
Is
That
there any way
didn't
to
help.
sell that little teeny piece of
Back
property
to
to
Haverhill.
Haverhill or I'm sure they would like to have a little more control over their backup water supply.
Yeah,
I'd be
Actually,
willing to sell them a little extra land.
they actually were doing hydrant flushing over at the old pump station today. Looked like a geyser, and you could, because you couldn't see the hydrant from the road. So I called Mike. I was like, something is going on. It was just hydrant flushing. They reached out to the water and sewer department about it, so it was completely fine. But I was like, there's a geyser at Johnson's Pond.
that would be weird.
I know. I was like, did a pipe burst in the old building and
God,
no
who do I
one
call?
knows? Yeah, Mike. Call Mike.
knows everything. It's true.
I thought that I was a lucky guess.
All right, open discussion?
All right, I've got 2 items. Anybody else have anything?
Surprisingly, no.
Okay, so first item is, this is mostly a question for Annie, I think, is if we recall on the permits we issued for Sewell Street and 106 King, we asked for an invasive management plan, and I can't remember if it was supposed to be 60 or 90 days after we issued the permit. But we haven't received anything, have we? So,
Sewell Street is still being appealed by the DEP.
oh, yeah.
Yeah, they've been held up for months now.
Okay, so that one's
That
not,
one's,
the 106 King is ready to go. So check the permit and see what we spec'd out on that. I think maybe we changed it to 90 days, but I think it's already been 90 days.
oh yeah, okay.
Okay. The second thing is a problem, and I don't want to do anything about this except go through the process of it. And so what I'm thinking is the process will be for us to just talk about it quickly tonight, think about it, come back put it on the agenda for next time, try to pick a potential solution that we want to do, and then present it to the selectmen and maybe execute it if it goes through the process. So the problem is this, is that people are parking all along Washington Street, the border with VZ Park. There's no signs there about parking, and there's also no fence preventing cars from pulling into the grass or even driving up the hill, which they do.
What?
Yes.
No.
Yeah. So,
No.
it gets me angry every time I see it.
You've seen people driving up the hill.
No, I saw the tire
See the
tracks.
spore. Or maybe, I assume, I haven't seen it, but I'll
So,
take a look. You
A
can bet I'll
a
take
lot
look.
of the parking happens, obviously, in the wintertime during sledding, and then it's kind of a big traffic mess, but most of those people aren't on the grass, but in the good weather, they're there and they pull their cars in to park, I don't know, to get them off the road or whatever. So
Makes sense.
the issues, first of all, I think it's a safety issue when the sledding is going on, the pedestrians are all over the place. The second one is neighbor complaints. The house that's closest to the bottom of the hill on that side of the street has actually had people coming up to their door asking to use their bathroom.
No.
Yes. And so they weren't happy about that. They've never been happy about the parking in front of their house, which I don't blame them.
I mean, why don't people just park in the parking lot?
Good question. then there's the erosion damage and, mess, and it makes that whole area muddy whenever it gets wet. And then, the
Nothing
damage
is
to the trail going up the hill.
Nothing's gonna stop them if, even if you put a fence,
Well, big rocks would stop them
but they'll park on,
I mean, I don't-
guaranteed they'll park.
on the other side.
Why don't we just put up signs that say no parking here, park in the parking lot? Because there are, how many parking spots are there in the parking lot?
Oh, there's at least
There's
I think
60.
60, yeah.
Yeah.
So-
There have never been more cars on the street than would fit in the parking
So
lot.
that would be a ticketing bonanza.
Yeah, right.
Well,
So some potential solutions are, yes, to get the selectmen to put up signs that say no parking. Another one would be put up a post and rail fence on the inside so you can still walk between the street and the area. It's kind of like a sidewalk where there isn't one.
what do you mean on the inside? What does that mean?
Beyond the curb, not at the curb. So, the fence is not going to stop people from parking there. It would just prevent people from driving in.
Right.
But it would allow you to walk along the road and not be in the road when you're walking. Another option is to do nothing, which I don't like that one, but another option is to place boulders along the roadway. The good part about that one is, we have that big supply of boulders.
We have boulders.
You know that, and
do?
yeah.
Yes, we do.
And we probably could get the highway department to put them in, and it wouldn't really cost us anything. The fence, obviously, we don't have the money for that right now, so we'd have to pursue that somehow. Or some combination of above.
Is there, can we make another parking lot? Not paved or anything with that?
Yes, well, that's a potential thing, is to cut into the property
Right.
and make like angle parking. But
It's gonna take trees down.
Right.
even if you didn't, I don't think that our conservation restriction will allow that.
Okay,
I would be wary of it.
okay, no, I'm just.
No,
It's worth exploring anyway.
I've thought of the same thing. But, there's kind of two issues. There's the big safety thing in the wintertime where just, why don't they just park in the parking
Right,
lot?
you're either walking up the hill or walking down the hill.
Yeah, what difference does it
matter?
make,
You're
right?
gonna,
But everybody likes to sit in the car and watch the kids sled, you know what I mean? So who knows? But, like you
I mean, the
say,
people I feel bad for are the people who do all the exercising down there with the picnic benches.
yeah. But
The
still,
sledders
again.
can park in the parking lot, I feel like.
So, if the most simplest solution is to put boulders there so they can't drive in, that would at least take care of the erosion and the mess and everything else. It's not going to take care of the parking problem. The parking problem, we could put on the selectmen. We could present this and say, look, we're concerned about erosion, so we're going to put boulders there. But we want to know, what do you think about doing?
Public safety.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's plenty of parking in our parking lot, so it isn't going to make it so no one can use the place. And,
So you put the
maybe
you
we'll,
put the boulders where they won't prevent people from parking, but they will prevent people from driving on the field.
yeah, right.
There's nothing wrong with that, except, what are we gonna do when the first kid runs his
Well,
toboggan into
We
it
will,
60 miles
we
an
can
hour?
put hay bales on each, if
We
there's
used
like
to.
10 rocks, that's 10 hay bales, it's no big deal.
We used to put them in front of the tree.
Yes,
Oh,
right,
yeah, you said that
Yeah,
once.
I used to grab them for compost at the end of the season.
yeah, until they started taking them to build jumps. But, if you stake them in, they won't take them,
Maybe,
or at least you make it a little harder.
yeah.
The only thing, I guess I wanna walk over there maybe and.
Yeah, well,
Because if we make everybody park in the parking lot, what's gonna be the fastest way to the hill to sled down, and do we have to then worry about, but it's winter, so that's okay.
make a little trail,
Right, they'll be making a little, but like, there's already a little trail over there to
is there?
Yeah. Well,
to
that's
walk from the parking
some
lot
of
to
what,
the bottom.
Yeah.
some people sled on that hill by the parking lot, so they're going up and down over there anyway.
Okay.
In the distant, they're
I
not,
mean-
walking is not gonna really damage
I guess I
anything.
just want to make sure that yeah, you're right.
So
Walking is
what
not-
I would say is, everybody look at it, see what you think. We'll talk about it again next time. I just wanted to throw it out there for our initial think about it.
All right,
Any other open discussion?
next
Yeah.
meeting, oh, what?
Sorry, I found the.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I found the notice of intent for, the order of conditions for 106 King Street, and it was 45 days.
Oh, so they've gone beyond that. All right, so get a letter for that one, too. All right, so our next meeting is May 11th, 2022, and I would ask this: do we want to completely discontinue Zoom after tonight's meeting? What do we think?
I think we sort of haven't we?
Well, Fred, I think, was very disappointed
Oh.
because he couldn't be here, and he thought he was going to be able to participate.
But that's not a chronic condition, is it?
No.
Okay.
Already, he can participate. They already had a different rule about remote participation of members at a meeting. And we could, if he let us know ahead of time.
Oh, we could zoom him in.
Yeah, right, just
special.
him,
Yeah, okay. No,
So-
the technical difficulties that we've had and the annoying things like the posting of
Yeah,
of
right.
political statements and stuff,
Yeah, true.
that could be greatly reduced.
Well, I guess just to make sure, it's the, MACC always talks about what the governor is allowing for meetings.
Yeah.
We gotta check with that.
No, but what he has said is, we could use Zoom. We could do our whole meeting on Zoom, but we don't have to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just wanna-
And the other thing about remote participation already existed before the pandemic.
Yeah, just know that.
Should we, well, I'm sorry.
No, if you've got
Well, I was just thinking, why don't we just for sure send out an email to the, Tom and
Oh,
Fred,
see
too.
what they think?
I mean,
Oh, well, we can offer
just let them
them,
know that, right,
the
that the
remote-
meetings are in person unless you can't make it and require remote or
right.
whatever. you
No,
know, but-
that's a good idea.
You'll
Because
still get a harassing phone call.
the other three weren't here, so
Oh, thanks. Move to adjourn.
is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thanks, everybody.
Job, people.
We're done before 9 o'clock?